Welcome to The Great Reboot. I'm Tori Ryden. As the world grapples with lockdowns and social distancing to combat COVID-19, there are residual effects to this effort. Isolation, loneliness, depression. According to the Irish Examiner newspaper, more than 4 in 10 people reported feeling lonely. That's 41%. More than 1 in 5 are experiencing clinically defined levels of depression, 23%. And 1 in 5, which is 20%, are experiencing anxiety and post-traumatic stress problems. My guest, Therese Conroy, is a nutritional health coach, a mother of 5 children who lives about 6 miles from Dublin city center. And I want to thank you for joining us here on The Great Reboot, Therese.
Thank you, Tori.
4 of your 5 children, I understand, are home. That's a pretty crowded house.
Yes, it is. With the children and then myself and my husband, there's 6 more or less adults here. The youngest is 16. So it certainly is different to our normal routine. And it's gone better than I hoped, really. We're lucky that we have a certain amount of space and we have a big garden out the back. So, and the weather's been good. So we're coping okay. Yeah, there's a few clashes here and there, but mainly things have gone smoothly. You know, I'm actually delighted with the resilience of the children, to be honest. I'm very pleased, their use of their time and everything. So there's very little moodiness or complaints or boredom, really, so far, which is great.
Yeah, that's great news. I know you've got a daughter also who is a student nurse in Scotland. Tell me how she describes things to you. How are things going there? And it must cause you some worry that she's not home with you.
Yeah, she's just coming to the end of her first year training, and she loves it over there. Now, Glasgow was a little bit slower to impose lockdown restrictions, but it is affecting her now, and she has been just doing her online lectures like a lot of college students, but her third placement has been cancelled. They'll do academic work instead. And she's been working in a nursing home and without any protective equipment, which I was concerned about. And she said that they didn't want them to wear them in case they scared some of the dementia patients. Most of them would have dementia, you know. Now, she's just taking a break from that at the moment because her exams are coming up, but I wouldn't be keen for her to work without some equipment to protect the patients as well as obviously her own self, you know. But we're in touch with her regularly, and I'm actually pleased that she's in good form. There was meant to be a visit in March by some of the family, which is gone. She was meant to come over in April. She was meant to come over this weekend, actually. So, you know, she's had to deal with all of this.
The publication Psychology Today, I want to read you something from that. Speaking of food and preparing food, they said, when a stressful situation of this magnitude arises, people often experience substantial changes to their eating behaviors, generally described as emotional or stress eating. We often start to eat or not eat in a conscious or unconscious effort to suppress or soothe negative emotions. And these emotionally based changes in eating behavior range from overeating to binge eating to severe caloric restriction. So it's all ends of the spectrum. And I've been hearing a lot about this, about people just eating way too much and just kind of mindlessly eating or drinking a lot. And alcohol sales, at least here in the US, are really right through the roof. The liquor
I'm sure
stores
they are.
here.
Yeah, I'm sure they are in Ireland as well. Yeah.
So I guess I'm wondering, because you work with people in this very arena, what are some of the things you're telling people? And, you know, maybe we can talk about a couple of really easy solutions that people might try to exercise.
Yeah, well, before this started, I was working kind of teaching groups, you know, just kind of basic nutrition for the health board, actually. And it was on a kind of a basic level just to get people to prepare and make their own meals. But I suppose when this started at first, the weather was actually, still has been quite nice, and it seemed like a little bit of a holiday. And people then, you know, I even noticed in the supermarket all sorts of treats and drinks and fizzy drinks and everything. But I mean, as the days and weeks are going on, you know, that's not sustainable, because first of all, those things usually cost more money, and you feel so rotten if you're eating them every day. They're not a treat item. And then the Easter weekend, the holidays. So as this is going on and on, I think that maybe people, you know, it was an initial kind of a buzz, but now they're going to, they can't sustain that, you know. And I suppose for me, food has always been taken up so much of my time and preparing it and everything, that I actually feel that the mood and energy in my own household is really helped by the fact that we're, you know, kind of eating well. But I think if you haven't had a good structure in your food, or don't even know how to make basic meals, it would be a challenge. But at the same time, I think people have great imagination when they're forced it. Today on the radio they were saying that all the flour and the wheat and you know, wheat germ and all these things are sold out, and the yeast, because people want to make, and they're trying to make breads and make their own things and get kids involved. So that's all very good. And I think as well, a lot of the reason that people's eating habits have been bad is this very, very manic, stressful lifestyle that we're all living. So there is no excuse now. We do have time, because I do think that to eat right, it does take time. It takes commitment, and now we have the time to do it. So I think that because it's going on, and then people's incomes are down, they have to get more imagination regarding how they spend, what they're buying. So I think that will kick in. You know, I think it will more and more. Having said that, I notice here, even like, you know, just out of a sense of, you know, opening the fridge just to see what's there. You know, are you really hungry? Like, we do have to bring a sense of mindfulness to it, you know. And I suppose, to me, I think, you know, I hope that people will develop more, you know, better eating habits out of it eventually. Initially, I think there was a reaction to, you know, we can't go out to restaurants, we can't have takeaways and all this, but you can't live on junk all the time, you know.
So having a plan seems to be a smart approach, and not waiting until, gee, it's 6:30 in the evening, what are we going to prepare for dinner? Maybe having a game plan ahead of time.
Absolutely. Like if you're going to do an assignment for work or something, it takes time to plan. It's the same thing, you know, but it's good work. You know, I sort of feel that if somebody hands you a meal, oh, it's all lovely. But if you put this effort in, you're doing this for your own self. It's you know, such a gift to your own self, you know. So it really does take planning. But yeah, I've been planning now more than ever, because I'm trying to avoid going to the shops, because, you know, just it's.
Oh yeah, of course, sure.
I'm going, even though we're very lucky we have shops near us, I'm going to the shop less. So I am planning for the week, and then just getting an odd thing that I might run out of, or some fresh fruit and veg.
I like what you just said. I love that point that you said, that people need to, I think they just need to be kinder to themselves. And so instead of saying, gee, you should be on a big diet, no, eat well. Just eat well. Be good to yourself.
Well.
Go out for a walk if you can, if you're not in a huge city. But, you know, I think that people need to get more creative. And but I love your point, though, about being kind to yourself, and just, it's a stressful situation. It's getting through this day by day is hard enough, wouldn't you say?
It is, absolutely. But I just find, like, I mean, you know, one of my daughters is doing her finals, and she's working very hard, and I just feel it's just essential, like, you know, she has to have healthy food. So I would make her lunch for her, and I just, even having the focal point at the dinner in the evening, we all just sit down, and everyone feels good after the dinner because it's a nice meal, you know. And you know, it's just, even at the end of the day, sometimes it's like, God, what did I do today? But even to do that every day, and me personally, I find it easy to eat well myself, but one thing is I find it hard is to exercise. So I've started doing HIIT workouts and got back to jogging. So that's a massive thing. So for me to incorporate, so between that and the food, I am ready for sleep, I tell you, when it comes to sleeping, So, but I mean, even if at the end of the day you say, I had a really good meal, that is an achievement. It's good. It's fine, and it doesn't have to be something complicated. And, there's like even using some herbs and spices that you might have never used before. Like Google is great. Even to say, what will I use ginger in, or things that if you didn't know, just to look them up. It's not that scary, But,
I'm so glad you brought up ginger because it reminds me I have a bunch of ginger I have to use before it gets that hard and I can't use it anymore.
Yeah,
so
great.
I'm curious as far as what's going on in Ireland right now. When you do go to the grocery store, are you all wearing masks and gloves?
Well, no, we're not told to wear masks here yet. So when we go out, most people aren't. Now in the supermarkets, there's queues and distancing, and they have gloves available most places, and a sanitizer before you go in, and also the cleanser to clean your trolley, and that kind of thing.
And it is a global feeling, and we're all in this together, and you keep hearing that, and it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we are going to all eventually get through this. Anything else you'd like to share with folks about, staying healthy and doing it for themselves and their families?
Yeah, I think just, well, obviously it just sounds so basic, but like just have as much variety as possible in your diet. Have just as many fruit and veg as you can. Forget about, am I putting on weight or not? Just try and just have as much fruit and veg and plenty of, just as much variety of your, fiber and your whole grains, your lentils, beans, all that kind of thing. If you're having snacks, healthy snacks, if you can, just try and have a bit of protein with a few nuts or, a bit of yogurt or something like that. And then if you do eat some, try to avoid obviously the sugary high fat foods, but if you do every now and then, just forgive yourself, and then like even just, some of the tin foods are good, if you can't get good quality oily fish, just the tin salmon and sardines are very good as well, excellent, and they're very good for your brain and your mood as well. And that's the thing about, when you really enjoy a good meal, that's, it just elevates your mood, and just try not to have any restrictions, really enjoy your food and have as much variety and balance,
As my friend Julia Child used to say, everything in moderation. It sounds like that's correct.
Yes,
Therese Conroy, thank you so much for taking time out. I know you're probably at dinner time yourself right now in Ireland.
Very soon.
All the best to you. And
absolutely, to you, Tori. It was lovely to talk to you.